In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started using your Cinepeer Weebill 3E right out of the box. I'll quickly break down how to balance the gimbal, go over the essential buttons and menu functions. And before we get started, I just wanted to let you know, as of the recording of this video for the next 20 days, the gimbal is going to be $50 off. And to get the discount, all you have to do is copy the promo code in my description. Then you can click my affiliate link, paste my promo code at the checkout, and you can get the gimbal for just under $200. And also by using my affiliate links, I receive a small commission, so this just helps support the channel. Now, let's get into it. Now, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna attach the tripod mount to the bottom of the gimbal. I'm also gonna get my base plate and attach it to the bottom of my camera. Now with the gimbal, there's gonna be 3 locking mechanisms, so we're just gonna want to make sure to unlock all of those. And this main piece right here is where you're going to slide your base plate in and lock it. The latch on the right, when you lock it, it will prevent this piece from sliding left or right. And then the latch on the left will tighten your base plate once your camera's attached. So we're just gonna wanna make sure that that is unlocked at the moment. And for now, I'm just gonna lock the slider. Now I'm gonna grab my camera and slide the base plate onto that little mount. And if you do have an articulating screen that you'll want to have tilted out when you're shooting, you're gonna want to do that first before you balance the gimbal. Otherwise, you're gonna have to rebalance it. And the first adjustment we're gonna wanna make is sliding the camera forward or backwards. Just make some small micro adjustments until the camera can sit nice and straight without tilting forward or backwards. And now we're going to tighten the little latch on the bottom of the base. Next up, as you can see, my camera is leaning just a little bit to the left. So what we're gonna do is the little latch on the right near the base plate, we're just going to unlock that, slide it slightly until your camera is even, and that looks pretty good. So now we are going to tilt the camera straight up. And what you'll want your camera to do is tilt straight up and down without you having to hold it. So what we're gonna do is there's a little latch on the right of the gimbal, and we're gonna loosen that latch. And now we can slide it up or down until your camera sits perfectly straight without holding it like it is right now. Then you're gonna tighten it back up. And you might have to make some small micro adjustments. Like I noticed right now, my camera is tilting a little bit backwards, so I'm just gonna push it just a little forward. So we're almost done. The last piece we need to balance is this pan axis. It's near the base of the gimbal. And what you're gonna wanna do is hold your gimbal and you're gonna want to turn it left or right. Your camera should not be flailing to the left or to the right whenever you tilt it that way. So what you're gonna need to do is loosen this latch, and you can slide the camera forward or backwards, essentially until the center of gravity is pretty much aligned with the base and handle of the gimbal. Tighten up the latch again. I'm gonna do that same test. And as you can see, it's not like flailing or twisting all the way to the left or the right anymore. Now I'm gonna hold the power button for a couple seconds, and you'll see the Cinepeer logo pop up. And now your gimbal is perfectly balanced. And before I get into the button functions and menu, let me show you how to mount this vertical real quick. So if you do have a flip out screen, just put that screen back away. Then the little slider that slides the camera left and right, you're just gonna want to unlock it. And there's a little silver button on the end of the gimbal. Now the camera and slider piece are completely detached. And I'm gonna wanna make sure that this little latch on the left is loosened, so that way I can slide the gimbal on vertically. Then you'll want to balance the gimbal just like you would horizontally, and I'm good to start shooting vertical video. One thing to note is that some cameras may balance perfectly when they are horizontal, but they might not balance perfectly when vertical. And this totally depends on your exact camera and lens setup, so I'll be sure to link a compatibility chart in the description. So now we're going to look at all the buttons and essential menu settings. So at the back of the gimbal, you have your joystick, which this is going to control the direction of your gimbal. You have your Bluetooth record button, which I'll show you how to link shortly. And right next to that, you have your mode switch, which has PF, L, and F. Also, you have a few other bonus modes, which you can access by double clicking the mode button. So the first one's gonna be POV, which stands for point of view. Double click again, and now you have V, which stands for vortex. Double click again, and now you have P, which stands for portrait. So PF is gonna stand for pan follow. This first setting, basically it's going to follow the movements of whichever direction you're pointing the gimbal in. L stands for level, which this is gonna keep your camera level and locked no matter which direction you point or tilt your gimbal. F stands for follow, which it's kind of similar to the pan follow mode, but if you tilt your gimbal up or down, it will also tilt your camera up or down. You also have POV mode, which you can probably do some really cool whip pans with this, or maybe if you're filming sports, that could be a really cool mode. And lastly, you have vortex. What this is gonna do is tilt your camera straight up, and now what you can do is hold your camera straight, and you can turn the joystick left or right to create this really cool vortex effect. So those are all the different modes you can use. Now let me walk you through the rest of the buttons. On the right of that, you'll have your power button at the top and your menu button at the bottom. And if you click the menu button, what this little dial on the right is gonna do is allow you to scroll. And as you're scrolling, whichever setting you want to adjust, just click that wheel in. And to save and go back, you'll just click menu again. And on the bottom by my index finger, I have this little scroll wheel, which right now it's controlling the roll axis. And then at the top is this trigger where you can click it twice and it will reset your gimbal for you. And if you click it 3 times, it's essentially going to flip and do a 180 and give you like a selfie mode. And if you want to rotate again, just click it 3 times again. And now let's get into the essential menu settings. I'm not gonna do a deep dive into every single setting, but instead I'm gonna show you the essential settings you'll wanna know to start shooting with your gimbal right out of the box. So to get into the menu, we're just gonna click menu. And motor is also really important because this is where you're going to be able to tune your gimbal. Even after the gimbal is perfectly balanced, you're gonna want to tune it in order to get the best performance out of your gimbal. I find auto tune really simple and efficient. And you're gonna want to make sure that your gimbal is on a level surface. You're gonna see that it's gonna shake a little bit. That's just because it's auto tuning. Now that your gimbal is tuned, you're just gonna want to go back to menu. And under advanced, this is essentially where you can adjust the sensitivity of your gimbal movements. And for speed, you have control and follow. So control, this is going to allow you to adjust the sensitivity of your joystick and also your little scroll wheel. In my opinion, I don't mind the factory settings, but you can turn this up or down if you like. And for follow, this is gonna be your sensitivity to how fast you want your gimbal to follow your movements as you're twisting and rotating it. Again, I just leave it at factory settings, but that's how you can adjust that. Now under Bluetooth eShutter, this is where you're going to be able to press record from the gimbal. And as you can see, I already have my Sony FX3 linked up, but whichever camera brand you're using, you're just gonna wanna make sure that your Bluetooth is turned on. And if you have an airplane mode on your camera, make sure that that is turned off. Wheel function by default is set to that roll axis. So personally, I like to go in and I like to change it to pitch because this allows me to tilt the camera up or down with this wheel. Or if you find yourself accidentally bumping or adjusting this wheel while you're shooting, you can click it again. And at the very bottom, you can just turn all settings off. So if you bump this wheel, it's not going to make any adjustments. And lastly, angle, if you do want to make some manual calibrations to your gimbal, and you can adjust it like so. However, I don't need to make any manual adjustments, so I'm just going to go back and set that to 0. All right, everyone, so that is how you get started using your Cinepeer Weebill 3E. I just want to say a huge thank you for watching. Huge thank you to Zhiyun for sending me this amazing little gimbal. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more tutorials. I'll see you in the next one.